And on Cricbuzz Live, and if you had paid attention to the start of the show, at the start of the game, you would have seen all the discussion, other than everything about the 2 changes for Delhi being upgraded to 5, etc., etc. You would have, of course, paid attention to our little discussion about bowlers and the possibility of bowlers getting a Man of the Match award, thanks to a certain Mr. Simon Doull in studio. And joining me with Joy Bhattacharjya. Simon, well, you just orchestrated this, didn't you?
Sign him up. 3 wickets and a catch. Liam Plunkett, man of the match.
Already?
Sign him up. Just sign him up. Give it to him now. Done.
I like the man's confidence.
Yeah, like Mr. Graveney, Joy.
Yeah, yes, I got the wrong overseas player, didn't I? I went for Trent Bolt, but brilliant, brilliant. I mean, you make changes in your team for 2 reasons. 1, because the conditions dictate, or 2, because you want to make your team better. They've done it tonight, Delhi. They've made their team better. We weren't sure, 5 changes, but really impressed with Avish Khan, the quick bowler, right arm, left arm. Which way did he bowl? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, the left according to us, he's ambidextrous.
The left arm who bowled right arm, but he did a good job. Good pace up front, and then Liam Plunkett, another change into the team. I thought he was outstanding. They bowled beautifully, Joe. They
good
did
pace,
a great job.
Simon Doull. I think that was serious pace from Avish Khan.
I mean, his first over is exceptional, and it was really, really good to see him. And Plunkett, the way he finished it off, and I think the number of slow balls, the way Bolt and Plunkett, again, 2 international good bowlers, and if you get wickets, that's how you really hurt run rate. And I mean, just this, you can't emphasize it more often. Every time they have wickets and they go into a tail, you can't hit bowlers like Bolt. They don't have the quality at 7 and 8.
Nobody got going, did they? And I think that was the key. Nobody was able to really let loose for the Kings 11 this time round. They had the freedom to play in the last couple of games, but nobody could do it this time round. So
it's their lowest total, other than, of course, a bit of a rain-affected total against the Kolkata Knight Riders. Their lowest total this time. And the fact is, we've been talking about it. Top order's been firing. It's all been Rahul and Gale, and nobody's really needed to do anything in the middle order. When you're suddenly faced with this, look at that. Karun Nair is a good player, but 34 of 32, you'd be worried.
See, Karun had no option, because Karun was the guy who was playing the anchor role in the team. So other guys were supposed to play around him. So Karun had no option. What really disappointed, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about Mayank Agarwal, because he got a beautiful 21.
Not even 12.
Every time we're on together, Joey, it's about Mayank Agarwal. He gets the classiest 18s.
Yeah, and 21 today, just...
What a superb 21.
But, so leave him aside. But even David Miller looked a shadow of the player we've seen him. 1 6, and you thought he'd suddenly hit form. Now it's okay. Yeah. He hit a towering 6.
So he tried really hard to get out twice.
Yes.
And then 3rd time lucky.
That's the one thing Delhi will be disappointed with, their catching. I mean, even the one that Shreyas Iyer took, he juggled that one. That would have been 3 in a row, and 2 off poor old Mishi. Poor old Mishi. And when he starts to go around the park a little bit, he just bowls quicker and quicker and quicker, and you could see him. He was angry. He was frustrated with what had happened. But pressure. Young kid, I mean, a young man, and he's still a young man, Prithvi Shaw, into this setup. There's 45,000 screaming people at the Feroz Shah Kotla, and he drops a goob, an absolute sitter, which he would have been thrown 100, 200, 500 times in the last 2 weeks. And he just drops it cold.
My theory is that it would have actually been probably easier for him. And it comes straight in.
Correct.
He had no time to think about it. Oh shit, if I drop it, what's going to happen here? He had all the time to figure out what he's going to do wrong on this.
But it just shows it's tough. It's not easy, and it's a young man coming into a massive environment, and he wants to do well, and he wants to perform. But there's nerves. There's always nerves, because that's what this environment is about, and that's what it's like.
One thing we haven't talked about much, thanks to the mountain of runs that the batsmen from Kings 11 have piled up, is that the bowlers haven't really needed to do too much in this tournament so far. Suddenly, they're faced with this kind of a total where you need a bowling attack who really have something serious to show. And they don't look like they have anything, at least on paper. Birinder Sran, Andrew Tye, even though he's been good. By the way, a little bit of trivia. Best figures by Delhi Daredevils ever on debut, Liam Plunkett. Who's got the best figures ever in IPL debut? Gentlemen?
Andrew Tye.
Andrew Tye.
Spot on.
5 for 17, and he's going to be bowling very shortly.
Yes.
So maybe he's
the one. Balls. I mean, we saw that, and we talked about that while we were watching off air, didn't we? You look at the bowling options. Andrew Tye, we'll see a lot of slow deliveries from him. Ankit Rajput, probably the pace, along with a little bit from Birinder Sran, but Mujib and Ashwin. And maybe Yuvraj. You might see Yuvraj tonight with the ball in hand. We haven't seen him. Have we seen him at all?
I think
one over, maybe 2 overs. We might see him tonight with the pace off and a little bit of turn in that surface.
Yeah, the point is they have to do something different. The only issue is that this actually suits Delhi very much, because this kind of total, pitch is turning. Gautam is a wonderful player of spin. They'll play him up front, and if Gautam is bowling, then they can't dare to bull it. Like if Gale was playing or somebody's playing, they would have put in a Mujib up front and just tried to see what happened. Okay, with Gautam, they're not going to take the risk, and he doesn't need to take risks. Also, it takes the pressure off Prithvi. Prithvi doesn't need to really score very fast.
So going back to what we said in the pre-show, had this been a 180, 190, maybe you wouldn't send both Gambhir and Prithvi Shaw. But this is the kind of total, and we spoke about this earlier. Exactly. Perfect for a 120, 130 strike rate.
Perfect. It just suits them, and if Prithvi has a golden opportunity if he gets to open, because he can play without pressure. There's Rishabh sitting behind, Shreyas sitting behind, lots of good batting to follow. I don't really need to take too much pressure on myself. I just get in and score, and this is perfect for them. I think if it works, this could really work for them properly. And look at that batting. See, they made a replacement. Daniel Christian has come in as well, so they bat quite deep. I mean, Amit Mishra, maybe you'll have to leave him alone, but even Trent Boult can swing the bat.
They have to win this. They have to chase this down, Delhi. I mean, they've made these changes. If they do, it can completely change the environment. I mean, Delhi's been, dare I say it, a poison chalice a little bit, hasn't it? As far as a coaching setup is concerned, captaining, going there, they don't know how to win. They haven't got a clue how to win. 5 changes. Will that be the catalyst for them to get a win and maybe just start moving up that board a little bit?
It's like that last desperate throw of the dice.
It is.
You just go and put it in, and it seems to have paid off. Halfway through the game, it seems to have paid off.
Yeah. And looking at the batting lineup, for the sake of Simon Doull, you'd want the 120, 130 strike raters to come and gradually chase us down. If you get an 80 not out from Rishabh Pant, well, then Liam Plunkett, does he still hang on to that?
3 for 17. I think it's got to be 85, 90 not out. Yeah. To take it away from
Fair
him,
enough.
85, 90 not out.
Yeah, and with this relatively small total, you reckon that's not a possibility?
But I think A, B's, I would say 85, 90 if they were 19 for 3.
Yes.
But
if they were 20 for 60, 50 for 1, it doesn't matter.
Since the theme today, other than the man of the matches for bowlers, has been all about mistaken identities. We've had 2 changes instead of 5. We've called a right arm fast bowler, a left arm fast bowler. Guess what? I too suffered a bit of an identity crisis when I was flying here from Jaipur the other day. And I had Melanie Jones as proof. She was on the flight. We were boarding the flight. And this gentleman comes up to me and says, "Sir, Mr. Bowden, can I have a selfie, please?" And he refused to listen to me. I said, no, I'm not Billy Bowden. I'm a great fan of your cricket finger, sir. I said, never mind the finger, let's not go there, but I am not Billy Bowden. And he says, "Mr. Bowden, one selfie, you always say this."
"Please give me the finger, Mr. Bowden."
Yes. And he just refused. And what I didn't realize, unfortunately, is that in my bag, I actually, for some reason, had a photograph of me with Billy back from the SCG Test match in 2003-04. And I wish I'd pulled it out to show him. There's proof. There you go. That's proof that I'm a different person. Billy Bowden is different. I am different.
Can I just say, I don't know what's more sad here. That a gentleman thought you were Billy Bowden, or that you carry a photo of yourself and Billy Bowden around in your bag.
Exactly.
I'm not sure what's more sad here, Gautam. That is something you should not have told people.
I could tell you it's published inside a book, so it's not that I was carrying a photograph in a wallet.
So you're not carrying a photo of just you and Billy around in your bag.
Let's get that straight.
Okay, please. I was going to say,
his wife might.
Okay, we'll forgive you that one.
I know we are consenting adults, but this is a bit much, you have to say.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't have a photograph of Sean Plunkett, would you?
No, not Sean Plunkett or Liam.
But apparently a lot of people just after we were on this show have looked it up.
And they've said, yes, Simon Doull was right.
Correct.
But between whatever the name is, Plunkett is the name to remember today. So front runner for the man of the match award, unless someone goes berserk. But what do Punjab have to do? Someone has to go berserk for them.
Yeah, I think they'll start with Mujib. They have done. They've been known to start with Mujib for, I think, 3 games at least. They need him to break through up front. They need him to find a way to get Gautam out, because I think I agree with Joy on this occasion. He's the key, because he plays spin so well. So if he can see Mujib off for a couple of overs up front, they'll try. Maybe Ashwin will come in with some leg spinners or off spinners, and Gautam will be the key up front to maybe set the tone. If Delhi are 50 for 1 or 2. They should be winning this game pretty comfortably.
Key role from also the quick bowlers, Sran, Tai, and of course Ankit Rajput has to get a little bit of heat.
Yeah, Ankit Rajput here will warm up, and you would have liked to see. You would have seen what Avish Khan had done on this pitch. He'd probably like to bowl out here. My only problem is that
bowl to a bit GG in the nets.
He's bowled a bit, but GG in the nets.
Well, there you have it. The thoughts of Simon Doull and Joy Bhattacharya. Should we remind you one more time of the Joy factor before we go? Because we want your answers to come in before the end of the day. And there's a reminder, Joy, if you can remind everyone.
And today's question is just as easy as did the Delhi Daredevils chase. If the first two are Sir Garfield Sobers and Bobby Simpson, which player in this year's IPL is the third name on this list? Please send in your answers.
You've been very nice tonight.
I've been
very friendly to start the week off.
Yeah, a little low full toss.
As they say down there, sweet as.
Sweet as.
Yeah, so all of you, please do give us your feedback, your suggestions, your answers to the Joy Factor. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. That's all you need to remember. We think it's going to be a simple run chase, but is there a twist in the tail yet? The big one to remember, of course, is we might be celebrating a bowler as man of the match. To find out what the reaction in the studio is, you got to come and see Cricbuzz Live at the end of the game. Until then, we'll see you soon.